Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that Glaive Kyo's rampage has not ended. Like, just a couple of months ago, Genshin has been putting out some of, well, I would assume to be the worst updates in Gacha history, because his channel has been absolutely blowing the up, taking some fat dookies all over the game. And I think, like, yeah, it goes all the way back to like 4 weeks ago, probably just about a month. And with this one over here, he's saying why the players are finally quitting Genshin Impact. And I'm excited to see with a full 24-minute video just how this is happening at such a high volume. Part of me is thinking it's because of, well, you probably guess because of what's in Wuthering Waves right now. Part of me is thinking it's because of this. You see the staggering gap in quality between different titles, where one developer actually puts in the effort to faithfully represent an IP in their collaborations with the congratulated and well-received Wuthering Waves 3.4 collab quest that they put in for Edgerunners. And they compare it to the Horizon Zero Dawn dog shit you got in Genshin, the awful fucking fake collab that you had in HSR, and of course, all of that goodness over there. And when you see so much good stuff happening in a competitor's title, and then this is what's happening in yours, the worst shit ever, well, what's the natural thing to do? So let's go ahead. I already know that Glaive is going to be doing some fucked up shit with, like, talking slow as hell because he's done that recently. Let's put it to 1.25 and get this going.
If you have been anywhere near the Genshin community lately, you already know what's up. It seems like the cycle of FOMO is fading. The corporate disappointment is getting too big to handle. Predatory tactics are being introduced more often than quality of life updates, and it has all pushed a massive wave of players straight to the edge. Usually when someone makes a post criticizing a multi-billion-dollar earning nuclear reactor owning powerhouse like Genshin Impact, the hardcore defenders tear them apart like meat in a pool of piranhas.
They stopped. It's really, really, really odd, because my take has always been, this is why I brought up Glaive's page, he hasn't really gotten, and I feel like anti-Genshin content hasn't ever gotten this popular before. These are like viewership numbers. This is like video success that I feel like I've never actually seen in this high of a quantity. And it's just been shot after shot after shot. And that just kind of goes to show what the general take of the community has become at this point. Most people, I feel like, at least on social media and online, they're not happy with this game right now.
They call you a bunch of stuff. A toxic, problematic hater, a liar, or a LARPer. Trust me, I know that routine entirely too well. But recently, this...
And I would say Enfield defenders are actually more toxic. Enfield and NTE defenders are currently more toxic positive than Hoiber's. The pendulum has shifted so dramatically to the other side of the avenue that, yes, Enfield, NTE players, I would say they're actually worse than Hoyo shells.
This anomaly has been happening a lot more when a piece of content drops that is so honest and fundamentally unarguable that even the most blind fanboys can't find a way to cope with it. A video that somehow captures the exact collective exhaustion of an entire player base, navigating the algorithm perfectly despite coming from a channel you've probably never heard of. There are a couple of videos like these, and I actually hope to cover all of them, but this one especially caught my eye. I am quitting Genshin Impact, and you should too.
Oh, I saw this one. Yeah, no, this was a video that I reacted to. So, I've got the full knowledge of all of this stuff. I'm interested in seeing how Glaive's going to cover, like, the ecosystem. There's a new ecosystem of, like, anti-Genshin hate that is flourishing, thriving right now on YouTube. And I'm not really even that deep in it, bro. I've been busy with, like, cyberpunk content. Bro, there's 3 new units releasing in Muwa in less than 7 days. I'm fucking busy. I haven't been diving that deep into this shit. This is probably going to be the one video that I release on the matter before going right back to, like, Lucilla stuff. But this shit is popping off. And arguably, in terms of, like, a career growth move, it might actually be better for me to pivot back into this shit and say, fuck Lucilla. I'm probably not going to do that, though.
So there is this video that is absolutely popping off right now by a creator called the Great JPG. By the making of this video, he only has around 610 subscribers, but he has 107 videos on his channel. So it's not like he's a brand new creator who has never posted before. Still, this video literally came out of nowhere for me. Here is the description of his video, which contains, in my opinion, pretty valuable context to the whole situation.
Yeah, the video creator's like a He's kind of a nerd. Yeah, apparently the guy's only like 20 years old. And like, this is the thing. I've actually got the comment that he left on one of my videos. And my reaction to his video also did incredibly well. And this is how I know the space is like ready to cook Genshin. Bro, like this one is probably one of the best ones I've released regarding the matter. And this was his response. Original video creator here. Oh man, I'm already getting people reacting to my content. Yeah, that's what happens when you go viral, bucko. Also, would you believe if I told you I haven't been playing this game for 6 years? I started in February 2024. So he's only like 2 years in Genshin. And he's not even 20 years old yet. But apparently this guy has played like 7,000 games. So yeah, he's like terminally
Nerd out one.
He's like terminally gaming. I think that's the best way to describe it. He's like terminally a gamer.
I decided on making a video about this because I saw the overall Genshin community was angry at the latest patch. I was already feeling kind of disillusioned with the game, but seeing the community actually angry and actually looking back at the game's past, I just realized that the game won't change and that I should just go and play other games that actually make me happy.
And I feel like this guy hasn't actually been that knee deep into the Genshin space. I feel like he's been like a little bit casual, to be honest.
Was the reason I included all of those game recommendations at the end of the video, so that if anyone else was feeling the same as me, then they could find something that they would probably enjoy more. Right from the title and the very beginning of the video, he drops a massive bomb. I am quitting Genshin Impact and you should too. That is an incredibly bold start, to be honest. I thought most people would get super defensive, leave a hate comment, dislike, and immediately click off. But no, the video's like to dislike ratio is actually amazing, phenomenal. For something so controversial, it has overwhelming likes and tons of comments actually agreeing with him. Look at some of these top comments. It is so bad, I deleted Genshin and actually went min-picking IRL. That's a good one. I remember how fun it was to play in the beginning because it felt so new and cool. I've only been playing for a year and I'm already losing it.
There's a certain way that like your algorithm ends up getting like set up where like people, you initially attract like some sort of audience, right? Whenever you get like a video that like does well, and the idea is that you need to kind of like repeatedly appeal to that same audience with every new thing that's coming out. This is one of those situations where the topic is like so appealing that it generates an audience for somebody. And that topic is Genshin fucking sucks right now.
Sounds rough, but impressive. Because I asked the guy in subservientghostface.com to play Genshin Impact, and just look at the screen. He would rather just himself. So I guess you're better, wouldn't you know? Even the stamina system is made to make us—
Wait, is that like a thing where like, isn't this like the shit where like, this is like live connected to a real person and then you like ask them to do things for money? And they'll decide whether or not they do it for the money, right? Like that's how it works, right?
Yes, you're better, wouldn't you know? Even the stamina system is made to make us uncomfortable. Yeah, and they haven't updated that at all, which actually gave me a new video idea. I'll make sure to write that on my notes. But enough comment reading, let's get back into the video. This bold title and statement was followed by an even bolder argument. He claims you should quit the game because the game hates you. Now, on the surface, you might be thinking as well, that shouldn't make sense. Why would a business hate its own customers? It sounds completely counterintuitive. A more logical point of view isn't that the game hates you, it is that the game loves your money way more than it loves you. I have actually made a video on this exact topic over on my channel.
Does Genshin hate players or do they love money more? I don't think it's hate, and I don't think it's loving the player. I think for Hoyoverse, it's this. The ends justify the means. If we can make money, it doesn't matter what we do. And that's probably the worst of them all.
Breaking down in detail how Genshin listens to money and completely ignores your feedback. So
I'd be the most scared of a developer where their tactic is, let's make money, it doesn't matter how we do it.
make sure to check that out after this video just so you know the details of what I'm talking about. But the Great JPG sums up his review and his reason for making the video with this line.
I have never seen a game that doesn't want to improve or be fun more than this game does.
I have never seen a game that doesn't want to improve or be fun more than this game does. And that explains exactly why he feels the game hates its audience.
One way for us to make money, guys, is by not spending money. And what's one way we can not spend money? By never fixing the fucking game.
He also establishes his credentials early on. He has played a ton of Genshin, completed a massive amounts of quests, done tons of exploration, and has played multiple other games, which I assume are considered real games. And because of this, his review should be seen as highly valid, right?
And make people work for free, making mini games on the UGC, and then pay them with Primo Gems instead of actual cash so you don't actually spend anything. Remember what I said before? Let's make money. It don't matter how the fuck we do it.
Aren't going to call him a LARPer, right? So let's start with the presentation. Before he even gets into the meat of it, he immediately brings up the lack of a skip button. Right off the bat, that told me his opinion of the presentation wasn't going to be so good. Here is what he says word for word in his video.
Genshin's cutscene presentation is shockingly bad. It was outdated the year it was released, and has not improved at all in the 6 years since.
It's improved like the teeniest, tiniest bit. It's kind of like your retarded son took a spelling test at school and got like 50 out of 100 points, and then like he came back the next day and got 52. That's like kind of the improvement that Genshin's cutscenes have had in 6 years. So it's like if you want to like notify that, like you know, draw attention to, yes, it's technically gotten better with like an asterisk, sure, but it like over 6 years, some could say it's actually going backwards because like inflation and shit like that, right?
Actually on par with Sonic Adventure from 1998. And I do mean that. The in-game cutscenes have the character models do the same stock animations, the mouth animations are not synced to match with the English dialogue, or any language that isn't Chinese.
The fact that they can't even get lip sync right is still just the most insulting shit ever, because I think they get lip sync right in their other games. Like I'm pretty sure the lip sync in ZZZ and HSR is actually solid. So like I don't know how in your biggest game, your most popular one that makes the most money, that you can't implement that same technology there. It truly is just like I know you just are lazy and you're trying to save costs.
Are unskippable, and every once in a while you will get a pre-rendered cutscene that is way better animated than anything else in the game. The thing with Sonic Adventure from 1998 is that it's from 1998, and the bad cutscenes are more of a sign of its age. Genshin came out in 2020, and should be judged like the modern game that it is.
All you need to do is take a look at Wuthering Waves in-game engine rendered dialogues, and people think the dialogues look like cutscenes. People think Wuwa's regular dialogue looks like Genshin's cutscenes. They get the cutscenes confused with the baseline fucking like clicking.
And for a modern game, these cutscenes suck. And the
Wait,
fact
what the
that
hell?
I can make this
The fuck was that? What did I press?
just like the modern game that it is. And for a modern game, these cutscenes suck. And the fact that I can make this comparison at all is proof of this.
Just to clarify here, when he says Genshin's cutscene presentation is shockingly bad, he is not talking about the cinematic, high-budget animated cutscenes, the ones that last around 10 seconds and are sprinkled throughout the major story quest. He is talking about the dialogue scenes, the ones with a lot of weird camera panning, where the characters literally just stand around with bad lip syncing. And yes, I completely agree with him, it sucks. But when he says it was outdated the year it was released and has not improved at all in the 6 years since, I know a lot of people are going to get defensive. They will say things like, it did improve,
Remember what I said before about, you know, your retarded son getting a 50 on their test and then they come back the next day with a 52? Yeah, you're not... I hope you're not congratulating him for doing that, right? Like, that's reinforcing bad behavior. You shouldn't congratulate somebody for getting a 52 instead of a 50 out of 100.
Didn't you see this cutscene where they introduced Not Cry? Didn't you see this cutscene of Kale? Didn't you see characters like Jehoda or Nicole making expressive gestures? You must be a LARPer!
The fact is, you're right, Genshin did improve its storytelling elements, but even in the latest Archon quest, while it had a few moments
God, you guys gotta remember...
Welcome to Not Cry. Check out this bookshelf.
where the presentation was nice, it was great, 99% of the dialogue still suffered from exactly the same issues the video maker is complaining about. It is still weird camera pannings, characters standing around with bad lip syncing, and the model cycling through stock animations of pose 1, pose 2, and pose 3.
I remember making a video about Amphorius. Was it Amphorius or was it Petaconi? I don't know. But it was a video about how 3.0 of HSR was truly the most dogshit patch in the history of the game. Presentation-wise. The worst story and the worst, like cutscenes, the worst animation we've ever had. It was 8 hours of NPCs just doing this and talking to each other. It was 8 hours of this. Amphorius 3.0 dog shit.
I mean, you cannot stay in denial forever, right? This is the facts. This is the reality. The story itself can be deeper than the stomach of a Reddit moderator, but when you have a presentation like this, it
deeper than the stomach of a Reddit moderator. Dude, like, I thought that was going to go in a way different, slightly offensive direction.
completely fails to do the narrative depth justice. It kind of bothers me how some people continuously lie and claim I call the story bad. I never said that. I was giving criticism on why people dislike experiencing the story.
No, the story's bad, bro. Bro, if the story's presentation is so bad you don't want to watch it, it's a bad story. Could you blame somebody if for Christmas you got somebody an Xbox, but like to get the Xbox was covered in like shit? Like instead of wrapping it in wrapping paper, you just covered it in poo. And then you're like, here you go. And they're just like, bro, like this is not a good gift. It's shit. But you're like, no, look, there's actually an Xbox inside the poo. You just gotta dig your hands deep into this poo and get it out. It's good though. This is a good gift. And you saying this is objectively not a good gift, even though I got you an Xbox, forget the fact it's covered in poo, this is a good gift and you can't say it's not good. That's like what these guys are trying to say. I don't care how good your story is supposed to be. I don't care how well it's like the plot is or whatever. It's like, I'm not going to put my hands into shit to get what you're saying is good. I'm just going to tell you it's fucking terrible and not bother myself with it. There are going to be some people that decide to go like fucking arm deep into that shit and pull the Xbox out. I have self-respect, so I'm not going to do that.
Continuously lie and claim I call the story bad. I never said that. I was giving criticism on why people dislike experiencing the story. And these presentation flaws are the exact points I have been arguing the whole time.
Yeah, if the presentation flaws are so bad you don't want to fucking experience it, bro, it don't matter. Like, hey, let's just say Gordon Ramsay offered you dinner. You probably going to accept because you think Gordon Ramsay make good food. But the cost to that is you got to get kicked in the balls 3 times before you get to sit at the dinner table. Would you accept? And the person kicking does MMA. I'm a woman, so this is a W.
Did Genshin improve its presentation? Yes, but if you open your eyes to reality for even 1 second, you would see that even with those minor improvements, it is still objectively bad. He even compares Genshin to other games that are over a quarter-century old. And unfortunately, he is pretty valid here too. In those older games, characters aren't just standing there doing 3 stock animations, they're actually moving and pointing directions. Sure, they aren't fluid like modern games, but the fact that you can even make a baseline comparison between a 2020 multi-billion-dollar game and a 1998 game is incredibly wild.
I think it's more so not even like the polish or the lack of polish. I think it's a lack of effort, right? Because you know these guys have more than enough budget to take all of these little things that have all of these little flaws and just like actually do like a pass through with a fine-tooth comb to actually make you feel like this game is a AAA game. But like instead, it's just like, bro, they're trying their hardest not to spend money. It's like they're trying their hardest not to do something. And if Genshin could literally operate like an MMO, where it updates once a year, bro, I bet Hoya would love to fucking do that.
Are also going to get defensive about the graphics, because let's be real, you can obviously see a visual difference between 1998 and 2020. The fact that the video maker made that comparison will rub some people the wrong way, but if you have even half a brain, you can see exactly why he made it. Even though the graphics are modern, the execution of the storytelling is horrendous for a game that is supposed to be the leading title of its genre. It is so bad that someone like this video maker feels like the game never even improved because the bar started so low. And then he covers how these bad dialogues are completely unskippable. The vast majority of games since 2010, even heavily story-focused games like Metal Gear Solid, as well as...
Bro, when's the last time you guys heard this song? This is the Herta Space Station background combat music. Bro, I think the last time I heard this song was like 3 years ago.
Almost every other gacha game on the market right now allows you to skip the dialogue. There is zero excuse for a live service multi-billion-dollar game to have made zero quality of life improvements here. Can they seriously not hire more animators or just give us a skip button? But in my opinion here, I feel like this debate has been talked about 1,000 times, but not a lot of people actually get why adding a skip button would greatly benefit the player base as a whole. It's not a...
I mean, do we even need it? I'm hoping, praying that if one thing happens from like this anti-Genshin wave that's been occurring over the past month, I'm hoping they finally add a skip button. Maybe I'm out of line over here. I'd consider playing Genshin a little bit again if there was a skip button. It's just right now, once you quit, you never want to come back because you know for sure with every single day, every single update, right, that you're taking a break from, there's just going to be even more bullshit, more like 2, 3, 4 hours of dog shit story that you don't want to listen to, that you don't want to even experience at all, that you're going to have to catch up on to experience anything that you are interested in. Let's just say you did not give a fuck about Nod Cry and you only care about Snezhnaya, right? And you're like, ooh, I'll just quit during 6.x and come back for 7.0. Nah, bitch, you're going to be doing like 17 hours of story. There's no fucking way you're going to commit to doing like 20 fucking hours of story to come back for the update that you like took breaks from. You kind of just end up quitting permanently. So it's like, you would assume that these devs would recognize that they make it kind of impossible for anyone to get back into the game. Plus, you got no resin as well, because you cap out at 200. There's no overflow. And so if you take a break for like a month in other games, you'll come back to like 3,000 stamina. In this game, you got 0.
About the story being bad, it's not about the dialogues being bloated.
So like, quit because of the story. The story makes you not want to come back because you can't skip. Then, stamina doesn't make you want to come back because you get none left over. And it's led me to believe that the Genshin developers kind of have like this stance. They're happy with the player count. They don't care if the player count goes down, and they are not interested in bringing players back. That's my personal take. I think these guys, they don't give a flying fuck about bringing anybody back. Because if they did, they would make it a lot easier to return to the game, but they make it really fucking hard to come back to Genshin because of all of like how clunky and outdated so many of the systems are.
You know what? I'm going to skip over the deeper skip button points for now, but if you want to see me make a dedicated video breaking that down, make sure to like this video and comment down below to show your support of it. Moving
And I've called it milking mode.
on to the gameplay section,
Don't bother getting new players. Don't bother with it. Just make everybody that's still playing pay more. Because by making the game pay to play. And why do you think Genshin's endgame has become impossible to clear unless you pull every character?
first delves into Genshin Impact's combat. He starts with the absolute basics. A team consists of 4 characters. Those characters have different elements and weapon types, and you can mix those elements to trigger high damage reactions. And right now, he is being fair here. On paper, that sounds great. The actual problem with the combat is how you acquire those characters in the first place. That's right, he is complaining about the gacha system. He explains how the mechanics work, right? The pity system, the 50-50 mechanic, the premium currency, primo gems. He mentions the punishing weapon banner, though he completely skips over the fact that it is historically one of the absolute worst weapon banner systems in the entire gacha space. Maybe he just forgot, right? I think most of us remember the incidents, right? But anyways, he points out that in a worst case scenario, you would have to spend up to 340 pulls just to get a single 5-star character and their ideal signature weapon.
That's something that's not wrong, right? 340 pulls. And this is the situation. When you have like 50, 60 pull Genshin patches and it costs like that much because both banners, you can lose on both banners and you can't just lose on only one of them. Yeah, it's an ordeal. It's a struggle, right? And that's how I know, when you know that Genshin has become so much more power crept, so much less free to play friendly. And of course, right? Remember what I said before about the end game? Bro, they've been taking the shilling up to 11. It's literally shilling up to fucking 11. And the end result, guys, is that like you feel like you need so many more characters than you're able to actually pull, and you just have to spend money. You just have to, or you just consign yourself to locking yourself out of a bunch of content in the game.
Common defense used by the Genshin fanboys is,
Well, you're right, but it rarely ever goes that badly, so it's fine.
What?
you know what? I would argue that the fact that it even has a chance to go that high should be called out. First of all, the pulls in these gacha games
It is really easy to get there. You lose a 50-50, and then you lose a 25 out of 75. Sorry, you lose a 33-67. So, to spend 340 pulls in Genshin, you need to lose a 50-50, and then lose a 33%. You do realize that means that you have a higher odds of going to the 340 than you do going to 160. Because 160 is what you'd assume if you win the 50-50 and then win the 33, right? The 33% on the weapon. That's one of the lowest probability things in this game's gacha system.
are incredibly overpriced. Second of all, look at this current patch. The game only gives you around 60 free pulls total. To hit 340 pulls, you would have to spend around 6 entire patches like this.
You wanna know how much the Woo-Wah Cyberpunk patch gives? Bro, this patch is 30 days and gives like 90 pulls. and then 20 collab pulls on top of it. So it's like your 30-day Woo-Wah patch has 50% more free pulls than a full Genshin one. And guys, the Woo-Wah patch right before this, 3.3, was like 160 plus pulls. So we just went from a 160 plus pull anniversary patch into a 90 plus pull collab patch that's shortened by like 25%. Bro, this patch is like 25% shorter than regular patches.
Saving every single pull. That is roughly 9 months of total hoarding just to guarantee a character and a weapon. And before you riot in the comment section, there is no use defending this. I guarantee you that if Genshin unexpectedly...
You can't defend it when the rates are better in Honkai Star Rail and ZZZ because the weapon banner is better. And you can't defend it when Woo-Wah is just so much disgustingly better, it's insane.
Increase the average rewards to at least soft pity, 75 pulls per patch, everyone would be celebrating,
One soft pity per patch, it gotta be the new standard in Genshin. 60 pulls a patch was fine in Genshin before. Let me pull up the Genshin bookkeeping, actually. Genshin pull count. So basically, in the blue over here, you're gonna see the actual number of patches per version. The purple is like the added up number of patches until they get to the end of the version. And then they add everything up kind of like, yeah, it kind of like resets, right, when you get to the new version. So basically what they just plotted out over here, right, was this. Look at the pull count over here at like the fucking bottom. Look how slow this shit is rising comparatively. There was less, guys, the power creep in this game didn't even get disgustingly, absurdly bad until like 5.3. When Mavuika and Sitlali came out. The 60 pull patches and stuff like that, barely above 50, it was like fine for the first like 4 or 5 years of the game because you didn't need to pull all these new units. Now you do, but the pull count is still dog shit and fucking terrible. The pull count is legitimately fucking bad. And it's gotten lower while you need more units. This is what you again call milking mode. And players are so invested after 6 years of playing this game, they'll just fork it up instead of quitting. They know.
Looting the defenders, so let's not be hypocrites here. Speaking of rewards, he breaks down the mathematics of it next. To get 100% guarantee for a featured 5-star character, you need 180 pulls. One pull costs 160 Primo Gems. Do the math and you will need a grand total of 28,800 Primo Gems. What goddamn? How do you hit that number? You do the quest, level up, clear achievements, or grind exploration, and
without a skip button.
you know how it is already. The video maker has a massive problem with all of it. Explains how he quits the game, I guess. We have already talked about how bad the main quest experience is for him without a skip button, but for side quests, it's even worse because there is zero voice acting. Of course, he brings up the infamous Aranara World questline, an 11-hour slog that stands as an absolute meme of a quest for a spit amount of rewards.
11 hours, and you want to know what else it does that's truly the cream of the crop? That Aranara quest, people don't talk about how bad it is enough. It also locks off your exploration and map. If you don't do it, you can't get exploration either. So you have to.
Spending that much time for barely any return is brutal. Whether it is worth it depends entirely on you. If you actually enjoy the story, maybe you only care about half of this issue because the narrative makes up for it. But then again, that is a completely different conversation. Since quests take way too much time for little reward, or maybe it's too boring, you are forced to look for other ways to get Primo Gems. So you look for exploration, specifically hunting down chests. Since
remember what I said about exploration before that Aranara quest? Yeah, good luck with that one, bucko, because again, it's not just the Aranara quest that locks off exploration. Genshin really has this like big old fetish over here for long ass unskippable quests that lock everything off. In Woo-Wah and every other game, at the very least, if you just want to get your shit done, you can just skip it and watch it later. Genshin, it's like, don't skip it or just don't play it.
the cost for pulls is so high, you should logically search for as many chests as possible, right? Well, a common chest only gives you anywhere from 0 to 2 Primo Gems. That is awful, but somewhat manageable until you look at the actual execution.
No, it's not. Bro, if you pick it up 80 chests to do one pull, just get some fucking self-respect for a single time in your life if you genuinely at the point where you will pick it up 80 chests for one pull.
First of all, chests don't respawn, which is normal for gacha games, but the video maker drops a crazy fun fact. The first two regions combined, Mondstadt and Ligue, have more chests to collect than the Batman Arkham games have Riddler trophies. And remember,
I feel like there are a lot of Riddler trophies, right? That's like hard. The Riddler trophies are hard to get. I never played Arkham Asylum.
Remember, we are currently at like 6 or 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. So that chest number is astronomically higher. Unfortunately, the Genshin devs completely lacked the foresight that the Arkham devs had. In every Arkham game, each area has its own Riddler trophy grid that marks off every single one you have collected. For those who don't know, and I had to search this up myself, the Riddler grid doesn't actually show you the exact physical location of the trophies on your map. Instead, it acts as a checklist organized by district, telling you exactly how many trophies and riddles you are missing in that specific zone.
That's good. And of course, right? That's a game, exploration slash adventure sort of game, released all the way back in like 2006 or some shit, bro. And like, guess what? Wuthering Waves decided, what if we just make our game more like a game and less like Hoyo versus dog shit? And well, there you go. There you go. And when you want to do exploration in this game and get all the stuff, bro, it is a seamless, chill experience. Some could say it's a little bit too handheld, but you can also just decide not to use it and explore more, well, organically yourself, right? Much like how you can decide to try to find all the Riddler things without this, but you'll probably get cancer.
And riddles you are missing in that specific zone. Genshin gives you absolutely nothing like that. You might be wandering around an area looking for chests that do
I wish they really showed all the chests there, but they hide some. I think that's actually pretty good overall for exploration, because you can find them anyways using like the third-party maps, but I think you're just meant to find them yourself. Little extra bits so you don't get unrewarded for exploring, and then you can just go use an interactive map, bro, if you really need it.
don't even exist anymore, and you'd be none the wiser, because there is no way to view a checklist of what you have and haven't opened. And sure, zooming out on the map gives you an exploration percentage for the local area, but that is incredibly vague. How many chests are actually left? Who knows? The thing the video maker actually forgot to mention is that the exploration percentage isn't even made up entirely of chests. While chests are the biggest.
To be honest, it's the same as Genshin. Okay, are you retarded? Genshin just shows you an overall completion percentage for the region. This would be like you having none of these, and then it just says 100% here. Okay, now are you LARPing? Wait, you have not played Wuthering Waves a single time in your life, have you? Or you've never played Genshin? Which one is it? Have you never played Genshin, or have you never played Wuwa? Which one have you not played? Because this is so. There is no way you're equating. Genshin's just. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Contributor. The percentage is a compilation of various open world activities, including Sealies and time trial challenges, elemental totems and overworld puzzles, Oculies, the very disgusting Oculies, we will get to that later, unlocking waypoints and shrines of the depths, completing local world quests. And because of this, not knowing which or how many quests you have gotten makes things way more complicated than you think. And yes, the percentage map tracker tells you basically nothing. And of course, the hypothetical defensive audience member will immediately say,
"Don't you know you can just craft treasure compasses to help you find treasure?"
Yes, I know it is helpful, but the video maker argues that it doesn't fix the underlying problems. Number one, you have to go completely out of your way just to craft one. Number two, the game doesn't even tell you where some of the crafting materials are on the map, meaning
yeah, you just make a loot mapper and you use it everywhere. I think you get the loot mapper in the first like 10 minutes of Wuthering Waves, or like the first 15 or 30. Yeah, I forgot the loot mapper's even there, bro. It just shows you everything.
Even more time spent running around looking for crap. Number three, you have to craft a brand new one for every single region, because for some god knows what reason, the Mondstadt compass doesn't work in Fontaine. Number four, it doesn't.
The compasses are racist. Yeah, you probably should have recognized that from the fact that there's actually a lot of racist stuff in Genshin Impact. Like, what works in one region literally does not work somewhere else. Like, I don't really know how else to describe it other than, like, racist.
Make finding treasure fun. It just turns exploration from running around.
For example, the Inazuma Archon doesn't work anywhere now.
Aimlessly to mindlessly walking toward a directional marker. And you know what? I'm gonna add to this as a fun fact about the compass. In patch 5.2, they finally updated the treasure compass to mark nearby time trial challenges, Sealies, and Manitou with a flag icon on the map. That sounds great, right? Until you realize patch 5.2 dropped 4 years into the game's lifespan.
I think it's a matter of too little, too late. Because you want to know what the funniest thing is? These Genshin devs are putting all of these exploration quality of life things in the game when they know that the player base doesn't actually want or need them. Do you want to know why? Because anyone that was still playing Genshin before that quality of life didn't care. Because they would have quit already by 5.2. Like everyone else, we all got filtered because the exploration was fucking shit. And when you do add it in, it's clearly to appeal to the players that might have quit. But then the players that quit, are they ever going to come back and be like, all right, time to go catch up on 20 hours of this unskippable dog shit story? No, bitch. Yep, oh, I just quit for 2 years. Now I'm going to come back to 200. Yeah, Resin. No, bitch. So, like, the end result is that it's to bring players back, because the people that stayed obviously don't care. But the players that you're trying to bring back have so many barriers in place of them actually coming back, it's useless. So that's why it feels like all the quality of life that they did in that land, too little, too late, should have happened earlier, then the players never would have left. And then you refuse to, like, make systems that bring players back to the game, so your quality of life that fixes stuff is still useless. It is truly a fascinating strategy that they have taken. It is like the #1 way to fuck your shit up.
Before that, Seelies didn't get tagged by the compass at all. You had to literally run across the world, hoping to stumble upon one stupid Seelie hiding somewhere. That was especially painful in a region like Sumeru, which has incredibly vertical elevations, dense trees, and layers of terrain covering things up. And the funniest parts, the compass still doesn't tag everything.
Sumeru, by the way, is what made so many people quit the game. Sumeru is the reason why people quit exploration. Just so you know. Sumeru was the straw that broke the camel's back for pretty much everybody. The desert, where you have no map underground, nothing is marked, and there's puzzles and, like, gears and, like, different elevations, and you literally can't explore it. You just, like, can't, and you're just like, dude, whoever designed this is clearly mentally retarded. I don't want to play this game anymore.
Completely misses environmental.
I can't believe they trusted somebody to actually put this in the game and they won't fix it.
Puzzles, so you're still stuck running around blindly if you want to truly max out an area. The feeling gets even worse when you look at newer areas versus older areas. In Not Cry, the Luna treasure compass automatically shows hidden oculi on your map alongside chests and challenges. That sounds amazing, right? Because oculi can be incredibly painful to collect. And so you might assume that the updates also applies to older regions, right? No. The treasure compasses before that only scan for chests. To find missing oculi in older areas, you are forced to go on the crafting bench and manually make Oculus resonant stones instead of using a compass. Why didn't Genshin just retroactively update the old compasses to make it easier for newer players, maybe? Or
they don't care about getting new players. I thought we already established this, bro. Like, they would have fixed so much other shit if they gave a fuck about getting new players anymore.
For the players that haven't done it, who knows? And you only get about 60 Primo Gems per level when upgrading the statues. Just like chest, there is no grid or checklist telling you which ones you have already picked up. And you know what? To make matters worse, you have to craft a brand new detector item every single time you want to find one Oculus. I remember back in my day, back in Sumeru, which historically launched with the highest number of oculi in the game, several of them were locked behind World Quest.
Yeah. Sumeru broke the game for a lot of people. And I'm gonna be honest, Fontaine was actually so good, it brought a ton of people back, and then they threw it all away with fucking that land, bro. Fontaine was actually such an incredible recovery. Fontaine was like, wow, they actually saved the game with Fontaine, and then they fumbled it immediately in that land, bro. There needs to be an observation made from 2023 to 2025 of how Hoyoverse literally killed the game, revived it, then killed it again.
So if you watch those online video guides showing you the optimal routes, you will find out the hard way that some of them are physically locked behind unvoiced story quests that take 11 hours to complete. That entire region is cursed. But
everyone quit between Fontaine and Natlan? Yes. And then people quit in the middle of Sumeru, then got brought back by Fontaine.
anyways, let's mentally reset, okay? Next, the video maker criticizes character building. While I don't think he has an issue with the concept of character building itself, he shows a lot of discontent with how long it actually takes. Maxing out a single character requires a massive amount of resources, and realistically speaking here, you could get fully built in a few days if you're insanely lucky, but it usually takes weeks of pure grinding. The video maker blames this entirely on the Resin system, and while that's true, he mentions that actual games don't do this, and that other gacha games have much better versions of an energy JPG system. He is right, but a stamina cap isn't just a Genshin problem. It is an industry-wide problem for the majority of games in the genre. However,
I don't think there's actually that much of an issue with stamina caps if the stuff that you're spending stamina with is, like, well-designed. For example, again, Wuthering Waves stamina caps, I've never heard a single person really bitch about wave plates. Like genuinely, it seems like a Genshin-only issue. Because, like, straight up, it gives you, like, a measure of when you're, like, done for the day. When you've reached maximum efficiency. When you, like, don't need to, when you, like, can still retain your interest and stuff. It's, like, an obviously, right, a way to, like, increase your playtime and stuff like that. But a lot of people enjoy it because it's, like, low scope, low stress, blah, 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 whatever. As long as you're able to get it done fast, get something good in exchange for them, right? And, like, not be, like, annoyed by the process, I don't think there's an issue with them. But, like, in Genshin, where the stuff is, like, time-gated, remember, oh, you can only level up this character 3 days of the week. It's trash. Like, because it's just like, bro, you might want to spend some this day, but you, like, can't because it's not the right day. And it's just like, okay, this is retarded.
I think his focus is on the wrong thing. Yes, the resin system is a massive bottleneck, naturally generating only 180 resin every 24 hours.
Hopefully Glaive has the same viewpoint that I do.
With zero overflow system sucks, but there are a ton of additional bottlenecks unique to Genshin that exist for God knows what reason, which other games don't subject you to. Number 1, this is the worst perpetrator, day-gated domains.
Not pre-watched, by the way.
Talent and weapon ascension domains operate on a strict rotating schedule. If real life gets busy on a Tuesday, your character progression is completely halted until Friday. The only exception is the very first week a new character or weapon banner drops, where the domains are open round the clock. Why isn't it just updated to be open every day permanently?
FOMO. And also because, guys, this is the only reason why. Remember what I said before? Some people could equate this to the Genshin devs hate you, and that's why they're doing this. No, it's because the Genshin devs are indifferent towards how you feel as a human being, and they just want to make money. And so they only have the system in here so that it influences people to, A, FOMO pull the character day 1 so that they can proceed to farm for the rest of the 7 days. If you FOMO pull the character day 1, you get more days to farm for them. The earlier you pull them, the better, the sooner Hoyo gets the money because you're swiping. That is, make money, I don't care about the player, method 1. Then there's method 2, where simply having the shit split out by the week makes it so that people want to do this.
I'm gonna spend my fragile resin. I'm gonna spend some primo gems to get more resin so that I know that tomorrow this domain's gonna be gone. So I'm gonna spend some primo gems to get some resin today because I can't do it tomorrow. I'm gonna have to wait 2 days. I want it now. So I'm gonna spend for some resin now. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to wait a week. And so they spend money. And then Hoyo gets that cut because of the restrictions that they put in. It's only because of that. And while other gacha titles aren't able to get away with it, Genshin has so many players that are just so used to this dog shit, they can just keep doing it.
Local specialties. Do you remember these bad boys? To ascend characters, you need local open world plants or flowers or items that take 48 real world hours to respawn. This forces you to completely pause your progress for days or awkwardly ask to raid a random stranger's world in co-op. And if those items are locked behind a regional story quest, tough luck! You have to spend hours clicking through unskippable dialogue before you can even farm for your character. Weekly boss, Trounce domains.
That's not good. The fact that you need 168 materials to level up a Genshin character is just brain damaged.
Raise a character's talents past level 6, you need unique drops from weekly bosses. You can only claim rewards from each specific boss once per week. What?
I feel like Genshin's weekly boss system is truly the most bastardized thing I think I've ever seen.
I said only once per week. The game is 6 years old. Why are we still having this problem?
One boss, only one time a week. And then basically it takes anybody literal months to build a unit. You can't. I guess this is like Genshin's great equalizer. Everyone's XYZ is going to be shit on release because everyone's going to be capped out at like level 6 or 7. Then the mats are random too. So yeah, I hope you have your dream solvents, bitch, or you will be here for a long time.
You factor all of this in, along with the crowns of insights, would you only get maybe 1 or 2 per 40-day patch cycle?
I forgot crowns are even a thing. Like, yo, it like, dude, people sometimes people forget that Wuthering Waves does not do this. Like, imagine if you had to keep your abilities at like level 8 or 9 out of 10, and you couldn't get them to 10 unless you had these.
cycle. Maxing out a single character doesn't just take weeks, it takes months. And
I forgot this was, like, I forgot they even existed in any of Hoyo versus games.
we haven't even gotten into the artifacts. Zyok spent years maxing his Xiao. And after enduring all of that, you have to deal with something called power creep.
A lot of the problems that Genshin has today, they don't exist if there was less power creep in the game. That's what I'll say. So many of the issues that are present nowadays, they just simply don't exist if they didn't fuck shit up in 5.3.
You just spent months fully maxing out your brand new units, only to realize the newest endgame update completely panders to an even newer character, leaving your freshly built unit completely useless. Fantastic! But hey, I guess that is just how things are, right? This is the game you're defending, right? But to wrap things up, here is how the video maker concludes his departure from the game.
What, are you gonna do nothing with your life because the sun will explode in like a billion years? Sure, I might not be able to change the developers' minds or improve the state of the game, but I can do one thing.
Talk shit.
I can at least make sure they don't succeed in actually wasting my time. They want you to feel helpless and to continue playing the game no matter how bad it gets. And I'm not gonna let that happen to me because I deserve better.
I think it's a matter of Hoyo doesn't care about you. It needs to get to a point. The only way anybody should be playing Genshin Impact is if they can tell that the developers actually care about the player. And from everything that I've seen, the developers will do anything to make money. Nothing is off the table.
You deserve better. That's why I'm quitting, and you should too.
In my opinion, it is a solid video with valid reasoning throughout. He makes some pretty bold comparisons, but you can clearly see how the dots connect. Sometimes he doesn't get into the specifics of the arguments, but I help to fill out the gaps, don't worry. The thing is, after finishing this video, I actually left with more questions than answers. If the video maker happens to be watching this, I really hope you make a follow-up video to address a few things I am sure a lot of other players would love to know. I saw your comments on a reaction video mentioning that you started playing Genshin back in 2024.
Look at this dude over here like fucking...
During the Fontaine era. In the beginning of your video, you explained how you
fucking bro stole... Why'd you put my thumbnail up there, bitch?
explored a ton, cleared a massive amount
Oh my god.
of the story, and successfully reached
Hey, what if they want to see this comment too? So you show them the video.
the hardest
You go
parts of
find
the
it themselves. Drop a like.
game. It is safe to say that up to a certain point, you genuinely enjoyed this game a lot, or at least played a lot of it. But having watched your entire video, I know for a fact that none of these problems are new. You didn't touch on Natlan's exploration quality of life features being pay-gated. You didn't mention the Genshin devs pulling bait and switches when announcing quality of life updates the community wanted for years. You didn't
Actually true.
even mention the newer lunar reactions, which are all completely pay-gated. You didn't mention
Guys, and this is the funniest part. This is all stuff that Glaive's talking about that is 100% true. That's not even in the video. Guys, these are all things that people are pissed about in the present, but there's still so much stuff.
the horribly designed endgames like the Stygian onslaughts. None of that. Everything you covered in your video consists
Like, guys, it'd be so easy to make, like, the 1 hour, like, the Genshin kill shot, where you just go through, quite literally, from release to today, everything wrong with the game. In, like, chronological order, and, like, what still hasn't, like, bro, there's so much stuff. It would be like, yeah, from, like, 1.0 to, like, 4. Whatever, it was, like, actually pretty good. Then the Fire Nation, Mavuika and Sitlali attacked, and they just kind of, like, pick it up from there.
of old fundamental problems that have existed since the day the game launched in 2020. Your core points was that the game refuses to improve, and I get that. But if that's the case,
It's not a matter of refusing to improve. I want to, this is the thing that I think Glaive is getting into. It's not about not improving. It's about actively getting worse. Remember that analogy that we made at the start of the video? Your retarded son gets a 50 one day on his spelling test and then gets a 52 the next day. We said you don't want to congratulate your son for getting a 2-point improvement. What do you think you should do if your son gets a 50 and then the next day he comes back with a 48? He gets worse. What's the reaction then? Because that's more so what's been happening with Genshin. We lied at the start. It's not going from 50 to 52%. This is going from 50 to 45. Genshin's been getting worse. And that's all the stuff that Glaive was talking about before.
It opens up a massive question. Why did these long-standing day one issues only become a breaking point for you now, after you already poured hundreds of hours into the game? Why focus so heavily on launch problems instead of the recent updates that actually prove your points even better? You already knew the Gacha pricing was terrible, the unskippable cutscenes were annoying, and the lack of proper chest tracker was a pain from the absolute jump, yet you still played long enough to clear the hardest endgame content? What was the exact specific breaking points or moments that turned these old tolerated flaws from annoying to completely unplayable for you?
And I'll tell you this, right? But nobody will admit to this. Because there's a lot of Genshin players right now that are in this state. They want to lash out at the game, but they want to do something else at the same time. They want to lash out at and talk shit about Genshin, but they don't want to give flowers to Wuwa. Because it's the Gacha tribalism conversation all over again. And this is really the truth of the matter. This all started, this entire anti-Genshin wave, everyone talking shit about it, making all these videos, laughing at the patches, bringing up all the past issues. It all started right after the collab got revealed. All of this started when the Cyberpunk collaboration, that first teaser, got released by Kuro. And then the rest has been history. Everyone has been shitting on Genshin relentlessly. Because those 4 weeks ago, right, that I was talking about before, that 4 weeks that I was talking about from when Glaive started this streak, this was also the same exact time the Cyberpunk fucking Edge Runner cinematic came out, bro. You can literally see on Glaive's own channel. They line up. That's really just it. How poetic is that? That Glaive's channel shows the progression of the community. This is his last Muwa video.
Do you think the presentation and gacha mechanics genuinely got worse over time? Or did you simply run out of your honeymoon phase currency? It feels like you experienced the best high points of the game in Fontaine, right? A lot of people loved Fontaine, and once the steady stream of free endgame primo gems completely dried up, the structural flaws you originally tolerated just became impossible to ignore. So is it the game that changed, or did you just finally run out of patience? But those are just my genuine questions. You can answer them in the comments below, you can make a video of it. I would love to cover that too. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment on what you think of the whole situation. Like, comment, share the video to who you think might enjoy this content. But that is all from me, Glaive Kyo, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.
Good shit from Glaive over here, talking about the situation, talking about the matter, and of course, readdressing one of those videos that we saw in the past. I like the additional sort of like deep dive. He went into like all the different points to bring up some additional glue. And of course, when Glaive was bringing stuff up, he missed some stuff too, so we helped fill in the gaps even more. Yeah, a 24-minute video, sped up 1.25, and then we made it 57 minutes. That's some diabolical work, but that's what you call transformative content, baby. All right, good job, Glaive Keo. Good job, Great JPG. Hey, good job, Saint. Let me know what you all thought. See you all next time. Peace out.